seems, Ashok Pandit, that someone should have done better due diligence. Here's a man who's a history sheeter in terms of making such kind of vulgar comments. We've given him a platform to come out and diss us. Some of this should have been anticipated and better prepared for, don't you think?
Good evening, Rahul. Rahul, see, we are looking things at a very surface level.
Okay.
That he did this and he spoke about the film and all that. There is an entire strategy behind the statement which is issued. There is a proper planning under which he has issued the statement. The reasons are to damage the country and to undermine the exodus and genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. Now you cannot differentiate between or keep two things apart as far as Kashmir Files is concerned and his statement is concerned. What is Kashmir Files, Rahul? Kashmir Files is a depiction of, true depiction of what happened to Kashmiri Pandits in the 1980s, late 80s and 90s. It is about my genocide, it is about my ethnic cleansing, it is about my exodus. It is 25% of what exactly happened to us. 75% is not shown. So, an entire lobby which is uncomfortable with the truth which has come out in the open is suffering. So there are people, the enemies within our country and enemies outside our country who are out there to defame Vivek Agnihotri, to defend this thought process, to defame the entire truth which has come out in the open. 2002 I made a film called Sheen. I made a documentary. It was tabled down. It was condemned. It was not allowed to come out in the open because they were powerful people. Today the times have changed. Today everything is on the media. Everything is on the social media. So the way Kashmir Files has disturbed the narrative. They are totally claustrophobic. Now, Rahul, I want to ask one more thing before I end. I want to ask as a filmmaker or as a citizen of this country, one, the silence of the film industry on the attack on a filmmaker and his creativity. There's a total silence. Number two, I held responsible the director of festivals and the INB ministry to take action against those people who are responsible to bring this man as a chairman of the jury. They have to own the responsibility. They cannot run away from the responsibility.
Let China MC respond to that. It's not as if he stood up at some private forum to make these comments. He was invited as the head of the jury to our film festival without any basic checks about this man. That seems to be a big miss, China.
Rahul, he has supported terrorism.
Rahul, I'll just make
by condemning this film, by calling this film as propaganda,
Let China NC respond to the important questions you make.
And calling it vulgar.
So, Rahul, I will only say that this is obviously a toolkit mafia that seems to be working. They have worked in the past too. This is not going to deter India, so to say. Or one comment of one loose cannon is not going to completely change the...
No, but you're not answering my question, China. You're deflecting. The question is, we invited him, we didn't check his background or track record, and he's come to our forum and he's dissing us in this fashion. And it's not as if he's done it for the first time, so it comes as a surprise. He has a past track record of doing exactly this. And yet, for some reason, he's the one who was picked to be the head of the jury. He's not standing in some random town square and saying this. He was picked and invited as the head of the jury. Explain why.
So, how can you hold us responsible when there were 4 jury members present at this press conference who chose not to speak? And obviously, there was a collective opinion which Mr. Lapid was just to be presenting on technical aspects and all kinds of other issues which were more technical in nature. Having said that, if he has chosen to use this forum for to represent a complete propaganda, if he talks about blinkers on for the Holocaust, but he's not accepting what Kashmir Files is showing vis-a-vis Kashmiri Pandits and the horrific terrorists that were part of this entire film, which were portrayed as Pakistan, and which is an obvious fact, and where you have the ambassador of Israel come out and apologize on his behalf, I think it's important
Ashok
for
Pandit,
us to
China makes the
understand
point
the
that,
country has
you know,
taken
why
cognizance of
blame
it,
the
and he has
organizers?
chosen not
If
to.
they get people with the same point of view, then others will say, oh, they only fill the jury up with bucks. There should be diverse points of view. Why hold this guy's views against him? He's entitled to his points of view. Why should the organizers have to explain?
But Rahul, he's used this for his
Rahul,
own agenda, which you need to highlight. This is his own agenda.
Let Ashok speak, please.
Rahul, if you see his track record, the entire media has been quoting his statements before this. If a proper research would have been done, see, you are handing over a chairman of a jury of one of the biggest festivals of the world, that's IFFI. You cannot hand over the reins to a person who has been a Palestine supporter and who has been issuing statements left, right and center. He is a politician more than a filmmaker. How can you could have found great filmmakers apart from him. So when he has done this, the government of India has to own the responsibility. You cannot run away from the responsibility. He is there on the stage which India has given him. He has abused the filmmaker. He has abused the country by saying that this film is a propaganda and vulgar. He has called my genocide vulgar. He has called my ethnic cleansing vulgar. He has abused me, my identity. He has supported terrorism. So the damage which he has done to this country, the damage which he has done to a filmmaker, the damage which he has done to a cause of a community, somebody has to take the responsibility.